All the disrespect before you play back, button check. Button check.
What is up, Button Check family? Welcome back to a beautiful early episode of Buttons That Need to Be Checked. We also dropped another video. That one though was a dedicated video to a sponsor. There's a monitor arm that's actually on sale right now. It's under $30 plus a 5% discount. Link down below. Well, actually, it's in the previous video. So if you're interested, check that out. Anyway, I'm talking too much. What's happening right now? Tekken community is on fire right now because, who was it? Spag. He done had some hate speak. He said, I didn't want to do this because last time it caused some trouble, but you know, in light of recent events, we're gonna do it, and none other than Aris was on this episode and he had a lot to say. People in the chat was going crazy. So this thing was hella long, man. I mean, like an hour or two, maybe even longer. We're just gonna cover about about 10 minutes of it. Link down below for the full action on Spag's channel. Let's get it, let's go.
Long time ago, but I remember that during Tekken 6, I was 100% so passionate about Tekken. I cared a lot about it, and I put a lot of effort into, like, you know, I had a website and I had all this stuff going on. I was really putting in a lot of effort for no money, obviously, just because I liked it. And I think that as a result of that, you know, I got some popularity. But then when Tekken Tag 2 came out, I was frustrated because I didn't like it. And I also felt like I have no choice but to play it, even though I don't like it. And that feeling made it feel like a job. And if it's going to be a job, then it needs to pay like a job. And that does not, like, the numbers didn't match. If this is going to feel like a job, then it needs to pay me like a job, and it didn't. So I decided that if I don't pivot towards doing something that's fun forever, this is going to be a trap. I'm going to dig myself a hole, and I'll never be able to get out of it. So early on, I realized that it's essential to make people understand that they could go fuck themselves if they want you to do something that you don't want to do. At the end of the day, that's the bottom line. Unless they're paying you, right? Like, if someone is paying you to do something you don't want to do, then it's a job and you do it. But I just identified that really early. So I decided that if I'm going to stream for a living, for the long haul, then I need to change the way I do it and make sure that it stays fun. Because, you know, at that time and even now, I've realized that streaming is a dangerous thing because you can lose sight of the fun very quickly and start doing something you don't like for way less than you would get, you know, doing any job. So it's really dangerous, I think, psychologically. And I just identified that early. That's all.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. I think there was another video. Let me see if I could find it real quick.
You guys should be ashamed of yourselves that the people who care the most about your game are afraid to say how they really feel about it because you're gonna then not let them do whatever. You should be ashamed of yourself that is the case. The only reason you even have a say in who commentates your tournaments is because of events like Electric Wing God Fridays back in the day when we did it for free. You didn't even know what commentary was. You didn't even know who to hire or anything. It was organic. And the fact that you are now creating a culture where people feel suppressed and all you can have left is like some guacamole shit, that you should be ashamed of yourself. That's worse than anything in Tekken 8, the product. The fact that you've created this environment for your creators, shame on you. That's how I feel about that.
Let me go ahead. Listen, I'm gonna take it one step further. I think in the environment that he's talking about, he goes on to say, like, it just feels like, and the chat was talking about the same thing, like it feels like there's a lot of content creators and pro players that are fake out of fear, which we've seen it. It's not just FGC related, it's just the way the world works. If you want to be a part of a group, if you're a part of an organization, especially if you're trying to get in, I see it in the UFC all the time. I'm a big MMA fan. Anyway, if you want to get to that level and your livelihood depends on it, you don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, so you're afraid and you speak the words. You toe the line very gently. You might have an honest opinion here and there, but you water it down a lot because you're afraid that you won't get booked. You're afraid that you might get blacklisted. We've seen it before. And I'm gonna take it a step further to say, not only do the devs kind of create this atmosphere at times, but they've created it to the point to where even some of the people we look up to, content creators, pro players, they've adopted this attitude as well. The devs have a certain way of thinking, right? And those that suck from the teat underneath that, the content creators or the talent commentators they have to think more along the lines of the same way, or they can't say anything against that because then they might not get booked. They might get blacklisted, as Aris is talking about right here. So in return, not just the devs, but the community has a way of kind of looking at anybody else, their peers, that if they disagree with them or the devs, they automatically single them out like, nah, they're bad. This is a bad egg right here. We don't rock with this guy. We're against this one. Now all of a sudden you see the same 15 people. You ever see a real big event? You ever think to yourself, why do I see like the same 15 people booked holding the mic for every damn event that we see? You're telling me in this endless number of talent that's in our community, we got 15? That's it? And obviously I know our community is niche and it's not as big as some of these shooters. I'm not talking about that. I get that. But all these numbers, right? Oh, this Evo Japan is the biggest ever. There's over 7,000 people registered just for one game. All this stuff, all these huge numbers. You're telling me we only got 15 people that know how to handle the mic. Why is that?
No future. Then he says, I don't miss Tekken 7, I miss what it felt like. Beating players like me, Arslan Ash, the best of the best, used to mean something. It felt like pure skill overcoming that time. Now, when top players lose, it's still shocking, but it doesn't feel special anymore. A lot of people say that they got lucky when they win and unlucky when they lose. I've won EWC twice, and I said I'm lucky, not because I'm humble, but genuinely I feel like I was really lucky. I want to be able to say that I'm the best when I win. That's why I want Tekken to change soon. Very strong statement there from the guy that's won $500,000, by the way, is saying this game, he doesn't like it. And, he feels like he got mad lucky by winning, EWC twice.
You know how crazy that is for him to say that? This man won it twice, and he's like, yo, it used to mean something. He's like, I'm not saying that I don't have talent and stuff like that, but I still low-key feel like I got lucky. You know how humble somebody has to be to win something, to win that much money, and to put themselves under the microscope? Like, yo, let's be real. This doesn't mean as much as it used to. That's like some of the realest talk I've ever heard of pro talk.
Our fighting games, good products. I think there's a lot to unpack in that subject because, there's also the concept of the change of before when a fighting game came out, that's what it was. And then it changed to now we're trying to do a live service. And now you guys tell me what you think about this. Do you think any fighting game has done the live service season to season patch note type of thing well? I think it's never been done well by any fighting game. And I think that fighting game devs are posers. They're pretending like they have live service games. They're putting out patch notes. They're putting out, we listen to the community, that type of vibe, but it's fake. They are not good at it. The products themselves are full priced with paid characters and paid season passes. The whole thing's phony. I think that fighting games are pretending because they don't know what else to do. They're trying to sell a product. They don't know who to copy. So they're looking around in the gaming space and they're like, okay, we need to copy someone to make money. Let's copy the live service model. But they're total posers. They don't know how to do it right. They do it terribly. And you could tell by this Tekken 8 shit that happened. For an entire year, they didn't touch the game to maintain competitive integrity. And then when they finally do, all the competitors are so pissed. If they're going to piss off competitors, you might as well do it and save the game a year ago. Change the game, fix the game, piss off competitors. You're going to do it later anyway. It's just like, to me, from my perspective, fighting game devs don't know how to make money with fighting games. So they're trying desperately to copy and be posers and see what works. And none of it's working. Fighting games should not have that business model, in my opinion. In another game, like let's say World of Warcraft or whatever, right? You don't spend painstaking hours practicing one little technique so that you can do it when you're in a tournament. You don't do that. So it doesn't matter if they change the game. But in a fighting game, you wasted so much time. If they nerf this or if they change it, it's too much to pour into if they're just going to change it. And That's why I think this live service model is not good. It's not good for fighting games. The model of version 1, and then they sell you another version like Dark Resurrection, that works so much better for fighting games because you can count on it. The player themselves can say, okay, this is the way it's going to be. Even if, let's say, Lily is cheap, you know that Lily is cheap. Let's work on the matchup. Let's find some counterplays. And that's the way it's going to be. But with this model, knowing how hard it is to learn things, wouldn't you say a smarter person would just wait for it to be nerfed?
All right, let's stop right there. Damn. You know the crazy thing? I was just thinking that point the other day. I was like, man, I remember back in the day, Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat, when all those just dropped, there was no live service. You just played the game for what it was and you learned the matchup. If stuff was cheap, it was cheap, but you learned it. We still loved it. Obviously, it was new, groundbreaking, all that stuff, but still, like, you learned it. And when the new version came out, you were excited about that. And either there was a flop or it wasn't. You know, there was plenty of flops, at least to me. I didn't rock with a lot of those turbos. And Third Strike, I know y'all love some Third Strike, you know. It wasn't necessarily my cup of tea just because Guile, and don't give me that Remy bullshit like I always say. But anyway, I respected the game. You know what I'm saying? I salute the game. But long story short, what the hell I'm trying to say is, like, you just set it out there and we played it, and either we loved it or we moved on, but we bought it. You still made your money as a dev at the end of the day, and then we waited for the next version. I think maybe more or less nowadays is the developers are so afraid of not making money, so maybe they adopted this live service, kind of like Aris is talking about. He's like, they're not doing it right. They're so desperate, they're watching all these other games, like, how can we make money? Because we're not, like, you know, in the current state. So, like, maybe if we kind of show people more DLCs or promises, we dangle a little carrot. Look who's coming in season 2. Look who's coming in 6 months. All this stuff. Maybe they'll stick around long enough to invest more money. But in his opinion, he's like, no, you're not doing it right, because fighting games as a whole genre don't belong in this live service atmosphere. But then what about Mortal Kombat, right? You take it there. I mean, obviously that's live service too, but I mean, they're always outselling Street Fighter, and they only survive for 2 damn years. So technically, I mean, wouldn't that prove that the live service model doesn't necessarily have to be a thing? I mean, because that shit is only around for 2 years, they're out, and they still outsell everything else. I might be like way far-fetched on this one, I'm just saying.
They shouldn't do just what their vision is. When you're just putting out a product and then you don't touch it again, maybe you like one bug fix or whatever, and you don't touch it again. That was my vision, this is my game, like it, don't like it, right? Pretty simple. But if it is live service, then you have to listen. That's the whole point of having a live service.
When I say they're posers, I don't mean they're bad at their job. I mean, it's not live service. You think it is because it's presented like it is. It's not. It's not like they're pretending like it's live service because of the way it's sold now. But it's not. They're going to do what they want. And they're going to, like, dude, this is their vision. Obviously,
yeah, we agree. I'm saying they shouldn't, because if they're pretending it's live service, stop pretending and make it like a live service and listen to the feedback instead of just doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Like what you want to do.
You and me are missing each other. We're missing each other. I think
we're agreeing.
We're
not saying the same thing. But
but what you're trying to do here is you're trying to tell them that they're wrong. But yeah, what I'm trying to tell you is they're not wrong. They are doing what they want to do, and they're doubling down on it. You don't like it, but they're not, in their eyes, they're not wrong. This is Tekken 8. This is what we made.
Someone being not wrong in their eyes doesn't make them not wrong.
Well, is that true? Look at those mountains over there. Everyone's responsible.
I know you're playing devil's advocate, right? But like a lot, like I'll give you a very extreme example. People are racist, right? Are you saying because that's what they think, they're not wrong? No, they're wrong. Don't be racist. That's not good.
You're telling me that Tekken 8 is equivalent to racism?
I was very offended when I read the patch notes for season 2, man.
It's not that bad, dude. It's not that bad.
Listen, I'm still, unfortunately, very grounded and very dependent on Tekken. I need it to be good. This game still is like 90% of my life.
It's amazing.
If one day I manage to make it out of the trenches like you did, and I aspire to, big respect, man.
All right, let's stop right there. So basically, Super Akuma, he was like, yo, if it's live service, like at least listen to what the people are saying, like if you're gonna do that. Aris was like, that's the thing. It's live service, but it's like smoke and mirrors. It's not really live service because they already have a vision of what they want to do. That's why you're seeing things go this way in Tekken 8. They're doubling, tripling down. They're not going to change it. They're acting like it's live service, but real talk, they already know what the vision they want because they have an agenda and they're going to make sure that happens at the end of the day. But that raises the question for me, like, so what's up with 2XKO then? Because when 2XKO dropped, it seems like they were doing all these tests and then it came out and then I guess the sales didn't look so well. Riot let go like 80 employees, whole thing. We talked about it quite extensively on the channel. People were like, this game is dead, it's over. Then they released more game plan, like a roadmap for this year, more characters. The latest character just dropped. People are losing their mind. We already know the story. What the hell I'm trying to say is like, it seemed like the devs pulled the game back shortly after like the Riot people got fired and all that. And they were like, yo, we want to redo a lot. They even said this game is not gonna play like it is now. So that's why the FGC was confused, like, what? You had this game for 10 years and you're still cooking it in the oven? Do you even know what the hell how do you not know? Like, it almost seemed in that case, to me anyway, that it was live service because it seemed like they were panicking in a way because they weren't reaching the numbers. So almost like, shit, we gotta do something drastic because we're not getting the reception that we thought we would. Or maybe that's not considered live service. Maybe it's considered more panic. I don't know. But that was one of the first times I ever seen devs talk about, hey, on launch, right? On launch or right before or whatever. Like, hey, oh, we got to make some more changes, like big changes, and the game's not going to play the same way. That was probably the only time I've seen that.
I know. I've been there since the first EVO, the one that didn't have any 3D games. They added 3D fighting games to EVO as almost like we're gonna throw them a bone. EVO was always Street Fighter. Every fighting game has always been about Street Fighter. It's Street Fighter. It's always been, and it will always be. But in that one window of time in history, Street Fighter fucking sucked, and everyone knew it. And they started looking around, and Tekken 7 was solid. Tekken 7 was never some masterpiece. It just had good timing, and it was solid. It was solid. So everyone jumped on board, and you're hearing about it now. Now things have flipped around. I think Street Fighter 6 is not that great of a game, but it's solid at a time when everything else fucking sucks. And that's what's going on with it.
How you feeling about that? I mean, I've heard that argument before where they're like Street Fighter, but you see that, right? Street Fighter 5 was so bad, it was absolute dog shit, but it ended on a good note. Some people to this day still say that was one of the best, comebacks or balanced games, balanced versions of the games ever by the time it was done. But for that beginning part, maybe even towards the middle, man, it sucked ass. So that's where that's why people are saying there was a lot of refugees in the FGC going to other games, and other games were thriving, they were getting more attention, and that's what Aris was kind of talking about. That's why he said 7 stuck out so much. Now, there was more points he made. It wasn't just that. So like I said, link down below, because they get into a lot of it is hilarious as well. There are so many damn good points here. There's so many shots fired. There is a lot, man. One thing though I could take away from watching this is Aris made a good point. It kind of really resonated with me, just where I am like with button check. I remember when I first started, I was so like hung up on, man, I want to know the devs. I want to get invited to certain things. I was so fascinated when I went to my first EVO. My very first EVO, I was invited to the Salty Sweets. I got behind the scenes. I met Ono. I got to work at, bar fights, Gutex, all of them, man. It was so overwhelming for me. People were asking for pictures and autographs. And this is when button check first started. You know what I'm saying? This was like, is this real? Like, this is my first EVO experience. It was insane. That weekend will always live with me, always. But what I'm trying to say is, like, that to me felt like that's where everything was going. I was even hosting tournaments. So I was feeling like this is it. Like this is, I guess, where my destiny is leading with this and this new thing called button check. But the more I got into it and the more I got behind the scenes and saw like how certain things were kind of unraveling and certain people showing true colors and even myself having ups and downs, and, you know, because I kind of had my thumb in my ass for a long time. I didn't go to journalism school or anything like that. I was a comedian for over 10 years. You know, I kind of just fell into this thing. So anyway, long story short, what the hell I'm trying to say is like, I got to this point where I was like, oh no, I'm actually in a good spot. Like I'm seeing a lot of like weird takes. I'm seeing a lot of fucking fakeness, to be frank. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not everybody, but it's a lot. Oh, it's a whole lot. And I'm seeing just a lot of bullshit kind of attitudes and smoke and mirrors, and I'm like, I'm actually in a good spot. I don't have ties to anybody. Button check does not belong to anybody but me. I'm not in partnership with anybody. Every one of my sponsors, like 98% of them, outside of the FGC. 98% of them, you know what I'm saying? So as far as like big games and IPs and stuff like that, I can literally just present the facts. I can present how I feel, how y'all feel, and I don't gotta worry. Because I'm doing button check right here in my room. This right here belongs to me. So I realized, damn, the dice actually ended up rolling in my favor. This whole time, well, in the early years when I was thinking, damn, maybe I missed out, I was like, no, actually, this is the best scenario that could have happened. And we're growing it like this. And with the help of Dirty Low and all you guys, like it's actually becoming the reality, not only that I wanted, but that I needed the whole time. Because you know, I likes to talk that shit. Anyway, that's it, man. There's so much going on, man. Link down below. Definitely check it out. It just happened. He literally just posted. I know it's on Twitch. It's probably on YouTube by this time. But I'm going to give you all the links I can down below. I appreciate the massive love. There is a lot to this. And either way, thank y'all for watching. As always, I don't know what it is, but I know somehow, some way, it's about to get better. Love y'all forever. Peace.
Blah, blah, blah. Subscribe.
A lot, like I'll give you a very extreme example. People are racist, right? Are you saying because that's what they think they're not wrong? No, they're wrong. Don't be racist. That's not good.
You're telling me that Tekken 8 is equivalent to racism?
I was very offended when I read the patch notes for season 2, man.
It's not that bad, dude. It's not that bad.